What if you actually use bubble tea ingredients in food, like actual food, not just drinks? Bubble tea ingredients are multi-purpose. Popping bowls, red beans, even tapioca. They're full of flavor and texture, so why not? In this video, I'm making 5 different recipes: tiramisu, cheesecake, chocolate chip cookies, a yogurt parfait, and a red bean ice cream. So let's start with tiramisu. The first ingredient is coffee. This is used to add extra flavor. We're doing this first so that the coffee can cool down and you won't burn your fingers later. So take a medium to large cup of coffee and add our brown sugar. This is our bubble tea ingredient. This is usually used to create crème brûlée milk teas to add that caramel burn top layer. I'm using about 2 tablespoons. Then we're adding a tablespoon of amaretto. You could also use 43, which is also delicious. The tiramisu should not be overpowered with the amaretto flavor, so we're mixing it in with the coffee. As we're later going to stiff it up in the fridge overnight, it should help the flavor to set. Now let's prepare the cream. Take 2 separate bowls, crack an egg and add the egg whites in one bowl, the yolk in the other. Add 50 grams of white granulated sugar to the yolk, put the other bowl to the side and give this a good mix. Once mixed, add a tablespoon of vanilla syrup. You can also of course use vanilla powder or extract. Then also add 250 grams of mascarpone. Give it a good mix. Now take the egg white and mix it long enough so that you can turn the bowl upside down and the egg white stays in the bowl. Now we must mix both in one, but be careful. Do not mix the egg white. It makes the cream light and airy, so take 1 spoon carefully at a time and do not just start to mix, but rather fold. Fold the yolks around the whites. Eventually it should look smooth with no lumps. Now take a bowl, preferably a rectangular one with a flat surface to stack it properly. Take the cooled off coffee and take a ladyfinger. Dip it in completely but don't soak it. It should not break, it should just be covered fully. Often if a tiramisu tastes soggy or liquidy, it's because the fingers were over-soaked in with coffee or the tiramisu wasn't chilled for long enough in the fridge. Once the bottom is fully covered in ladyfingers, take your cream and cover the whole bottom. You can choose a bit how much, but don't add a too thick layer, as we still need to add another few layers. Now this is my secret for a good tiramisu. We're going to add a layer of biscoff. This adds a bit more flavor. Repeat the same process as the ladyfingers, dip it in the coffee and cover the full bowl. As I'm using a very small bowl, it looks a bit odd, but it's okay, it doesn't have to look perfect. Then add another layer of cream. Now you can choose, either add another layer of biscoff or one of ladyfingers. I'm adding ladyfingers. If you have a high enough bowl, you can also add 2 extra layers, one of ladyfingers and one of biscoff. And end it off with the last bit of the cream. Now put the bowl in the fridge for either at least 6 hours or overnight. This will make sure it fully stiffens up and doesn't end up soggy. As we need to wait a while, let's prepare our next recipe, a no-bake cheesecake. First we prepare the biscuit, so we add 200 grams of crushed digestive biscuits. Then melt 100 grams of butter in a cup and put to the side. Take a serving bowl and add both ingredients. Mix well and then push it flat. This is the bottom crust of the cheesecake. As you can see, I made a very poor choice of bowl. It should have a flat surface, but hey, as long as it tastes good. Now put it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Then measure 500 grams of cream cheese, 100 grams of icing sugar, and 250 milliliters of double cream. Add the cream cheese and icing sugar to a bowl and add vanilla syrup to it. Then mix it. In a separate bowl, add the double cream and whisk it until stiff. Add the double cream to the cream cheese and be as gentle as with the tiramisu, gentle folds. Once done, add it on top of the chilled biscuit base. Then put it in the fridge for at least another 4 hours or overnight. The next one is a classic, brown sugar chocolate chip cookies. Measure 2 sticks of unsalted butter and melt it in the microwave. Take 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Add the flour to a bowl and add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Then add 1 1/4 cup of our brown sugar. For the best results, you mix the dry ingredients first and then add the wet ingredients, but I felt a bit adventurous, so I mixed everything at once. Then add 2 large eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla syrup, the melted butter, and mix. Once mixed, add some chocolate chips and mix it again. Then we put this in the fridge for another half an hour. Once chilled, take the dough out of the fridge and preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Scoop the dough into balls, about 2 tablespoons each, and space them out on a tray. Flatten each one slightly with your hand. To each cookie, you can add some chocolate chips on top. Bake for 13 to 15 minutes or until the edges are golden brown. What would make this even more delicious is if you prepare cream foam as a dipping sauce. You could use our tiramisu flavor or creamy snow flavor, or even rose and lychee, or you could drizzle some brown sugar or hazelnut syrup over it, or put some popping balls on the side. Anyways, let's see how our tiramisu stiffened up after a night in the fridge. Right before serving, add a layer of cacao powder. We're using our mocha powder. Now this is a very tiny bowl, so I had to cut a square in the middle to be able to scoop out a nice piece, so just ignore the aesthetics for a bit, but see how rich, big and stiff this looks. No dripping liquid on the bottom, clear layers, absolutely gorgeous. I could not wait to take a bite. Now let's see how our cheesecake is doing after a night. It's stiffened up really nice. It's a really thick and rich cheesecake. There are of course variants that are a bit more airy and wobbly, but this one is nice and thick. I'm adding strawberry jam on the top in a generous layer, but we also have peach, mango, grapefruit or passion fruit jam. To top it off, I'm matching with strawberry popping balls. Of course, you can go nuts here. You could add mango, lychee, grape, lemon, chocolate, cola, watermelon. You could experiment with jellies too. You could also add a layer of cream foam on top. There are really no limits. Well, I won't promise a nice and clean cut given the shape of the bowl, but my sincere apologies. Nonetheless, you can get the gist. This looks amazing. Juicy, rich, thick, messy of course, but so heavenly. You can always let me know if you want me to make this again in a proper shape. I also had to take a bite from this one. Now let's prepare 2 recipes that don't need any baking or chilling. They're ready right after assembly. The first one is a yogurt parfait. Take a bowl or a glass, spoon in some Greek yogurt or any yogurt you see fit. I wanted to give the yogurt some flavor, so I added our honey syrup. Give it a good mix. And then add a layer of fruit jam. I'm using passion fruit. Then add some granola. You can choose a mix with seeds and nuts or dried fruits or chocolate. You could also make this with oats, but the star of the show, strawberry popping balls. They add sweetness and a bit of texture. I also added cola popping balls. I know it's a bit of a weird combination in a yogurt parfait, but hey, we like it bold and brave. Serve it right away so that the popping balls keep their texture, but this looks so good. You can also prepare overnight oats and serve the popping balls in the morning. There is so much room for creativity. Last one, this is a simple red bean ice cream. In a glass or a bowl, add our sweet boiled red beans and add some cold milk and mix. This makes it a bit more creamy. Then add 2 ladles of condensed milk. It is a sticky mess, but it's really good. Now add vanilla ice cream. Of course, you don't have to use vanilla, you can also use strawberry, chocolate, matcha or pistachio. And to top it off, add some more red beans. This is a very classic Asian dessert and very worth to try. It's sweet, light and really refreshing. You can opt to add some white sugar syrup or brown sugar syrup to add more spice. So yeah, bubble tea ingredients aren't just for drinks. You can use them in proper desserts, proper bakes. It's easy, it's flexible, and if you already are buying these ingredients for drinks, it just makes sense to use them in other ways too. Whether you're running a cafe or you're just experimenting in your kitchen, this is a very fun way to switch things up. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all our social media, which is TikTok and YouTube. Cheers!